Welcome in, Shield Brothers and Shield Maidens, to Shield's Rest. Today, we're going to be playing a little bit of Grimwild, so let's get weird. All right, so yes, Grimwild is a quote-unquote cinematic fantasy game, so it's going to be very narrative-heavy. Narrative focuses by Oddity Press. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. Set the scene a little bit. The kind of like the region that you're in is known as the Pale Marches. So this is a kind of vast, somewhat desolate. There's like it has its hubs and its towns, but kind of the in-betweens aren't hugely populated. Just a lot of rolling hills, and kind of like plateaued areas. It is named as such because of this kind of like heavy mist that just uh, kind of frequents sweeps across the terrain. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. That's just kind of like the normal temperature weather of the area. It just kind of like always has this fog around it. Has this kind of like metallic scent, almost taste to it as you're walking out into it. Nothing dangerous, nothing poisonous or anything like that. Um, but it is kind of a reflection of the land itself, which is very rich in mineral, very mining and prospecting heavy, some farmland, but for the most part, they're all about the mineral wealth here. Um, you guys are currently on the road to Bastion, which is kind of this multi-tiered, kind of colossal fortress. Um, Kind of like the largest settlement in the region, and a kind of a frontier stronghold for the area. Has withstood the test of time, so to speak, for dozens, if not hundreds of years. It's kind of always been around. Very heavy, practical, um, very like geometrical in its shape, right? It's very like rigid in its design, and it's just kind of held through time on that. And you are currently returning from a voyage, trip, adventure, so to speak, whatever it is that you've been on. And you're just along the road. You're probably, from where you're walking, just kind of cresting over the horizon. But once you make it to that kind of crest is when you'll finally see Bastion there. So as you're all walking around, I will throw it to. Let's pick on Brown first. If you would like to introduce your character for us, please.
Yeah, so I'm excited to try this out. I am playing Bassam Salad. He is a warlock. Just some quick distinctive features about him. He has a singular gold loop earring on his left ear. He has an antique lamp tied to his waist, and he always wears this red scarf kind of covering his shoulders and neck. And yeah, super excited to play this. I guess I'll leave it there for now and add more later if I need to.
Just to touch on it too, since there's no specific uh you know species or anything like that, kind of describe your physical appearance as well. Um just like human, orc, things like that. What do you describe yourself as?
Yeah, so I'd definitely be more just like a typical human, but I do have like a darker tone to my skin. And I guess I'll throw it in there since I didn't think about it at the time. But as a warlock, I do have a pack. My patron, his name is Eldeber, and he is a fire elemental type of magical entity. And I'll kind of leave it at that.
All right, and then yes, traveling with you. Next we'll go to I'm gonna save Joe for last. Let's go for True.
Nice. Yeah, so I'm Rathgar Thadgrim. He's got a gravelly voice, dirty clothing. He looks not necessarily young, but he's not an old man either. Probably in his like 20, 25 area. He's a human build, looks like a little bit of a half elf going on here, and I am playing a ranger, so with a little bit of rogue capability. So yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then Joe, what have you got for us today?
I have a about 15-year-old orc who's heavy set. Um, his eyes are very soulful though, if you think about it. Large nose, that's like one of the things that you notice from him the most. And just plain clothes that kids would be wearing. It looks a little bit too snug on him, but you know, that's what you get when you're poor. But yeah.
Just
And
a
I'm playing as a
good
scion. I don't know if I said.
medium.
Yeah, a
Scion,
medium. Yep.
a medium. All right. Um, so as you guys are traveling down the road, um, like I said, that fog has set in quite a bit, so obscuring your vision a little bit. It is quite possible on a clear day you might be able to see the outskirts of Bastion from here, but for now you just see this kind of just this dense fog along the road, and then as off in the distance, kind of going towards you, you start to see the shadow of a figure. Not anything uncommon. This is a well-traveled road, so to speak. Just been a little bit quieter than normal, I would say. You haven't seen too much foot traffic, especially as you get closer. Haven't seen too much, and you see this could just figures approaching along the way, and as they get closer, probably say Rathgar might notice this a little bit first. You're more so uh, wise and tracking, looking out for things. They appear to be either running or jogging. There's definitely some speed to them, and you start to hear some indistinguishable shouts coming from that direction, but they do
I'll
seem
tell
quite a bit ways off.
I'll tell everyone to push off and get to the edges and find some cover. I'm assuming we have some potential cover here, like trees and stuff like that, brush.
Yeah, for sure. Probably maybe so you have like the road, it's a paved road, and then maybe 30 feet off to either side there'll probably be some not necessarily super dense tree line, but there is some forest off to about by 30 feet ish off the road either way. But definitely enough to hide
I'll
behind.
pull them off. I'll pull them off to the side and be like, "I see somebody coming."
Where did you see them coming from?
Up ahead, obviously.
Sorry. Okay, there.
God,
Okay, there they are. Oh,
I'm like ducked down.
duh.
I see. I see you
And
there.
as
They're
you
coming. Definitely.
assuming all follow as you duck off to the side, apologies for my voice. I'm going to be describing more things than actually acting them out tonight, but as they draw closer, you do those the noise you're hearing, you realize are screams, cries for help as these kind of figures get closer, um, and then assuming you either wait or anything, you eventually notice that it appears to be a family, uh, civilian in nature, right? They just look like in normal clothes, and they are being chased by straight out of 28 Days Later, sprinting zombies chasing after them.
Rush out there then, and I'll just start firing off some arrows in their general direction. Not the people, but the zombies. To clarify,
Just help the zombies out. All right. So you let loose some arrows for the zombies. Go ahead and give me an agility check. So the way the check will work is whatever your agility score is, you will roll that many d6s, and you are going to tell me the highest number that you get. If you roll 2 6s, let me know. You are also going to roll with one thorn, just because of the fog kind of
Okay.
obscures your vision just from that distance. And on that thorn, you will let me know if you roll a 7 or an 8. And that's a d8, sorry.
Roll a sip. That's
The
a
thorn.
D8. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I've got 3 for my agility, so that's 3d6s plus the thorn being a D8.
Yes.
All right. So I rolled a 6 on the D8,
Okay, perfect.
and I've rolled 1 6, a 4, and a 2.
He's like high thorns. Perfect.
No, it is good. No, so the thorn, as long as you don't, if you roll a 7 or 8, it would have cut down your result, but you rolled a 6, so the thorn is good. And with a 6, you get a perfect. So as you launch out at these zombies, while they are quick, they are very weak. So you very quickly fire off 3 arrows, boom, 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 hit each one in the head, and all 3 of them fall down dead. Just very simple, mook-like figures. But you do see in the distance behind them, not quite as fast, two kind of larger, more like whites, bigger, bulkier, one carrying a kind of like a chain weapon and the other with a giant sword. They are rushing after this family as well, but they're just a little bit further behind. But as you take those
Boys, get
out, the
ready.
family kind of like dives off to the side, and they're just kind of like cowering now.
What
What
the
does the other two of you
Joe?
do?
Sorry, what's your
What?
character name? This is awkward. What's your character name?
Oh,
Oh,
I don't know if
boy.
I said that. Balfour.
My name's Balfour again.
If you would allow this, GM, I would like to look at Balfour and kind of give him the nod. And we've worked together long enough for him to hopefully know what this means. I would like to use my Wayfarer talent to teleport myself and him. Attempt to do so.
Oh.
Behind those
Absolutely.
adversaries.
For sure. What
I
is
I
the
love when we do
wording
this.
on Wayfarer there?
Yeah, it says I can push myself to teleport. Let's see here. As long as it's within eyesight, it doesn't require any roll. And I can bring other persons taking +1 thorns per person. So I guess I would roll a thorns, but
Oh,
otherwise it
yeah, so you
succeeds.
can so it will succeed. Go ahead and roll that D8 for me just to see what you get.
7.
A 7. So normally that would cut down your result, but since it's an auto succeed, what I'm going to do is basically take a suspense for that. So now I basically have one I would equate it to a fear. Basically, I just got a little fear that I can spend whenever I want. Um, but you do both Bamf appear between these two whites there. And then what does Balfour do as you arrive?
As he arrives, he's going to use his meta creation to create a weapon in his hand. I'll go
Okay.
with a sword. So I have to roll for that, correct?
Yep. So I think it says you'll
Spend 1 power point to cast a
whatever the two
spell.
stats are, add those two amounts, subtract 2, and that's how many d6s you'll roll.
Right
I
on.
also get a +1d because I'm a wilder, and then I also have 1 thorn every time I roll. So
Okay.
Um,
So go ahead. So
brawn
it'll
and
be whatever that is
presence.
+1, and then a d8 as well.
Alrighty. So that's a 3 and a 2, and then an extra 1, and then a d8.
All right. And then you'll just have to tell me whatever the highest number you roll is.
Rolled a 9 on my d8, but I got
What?
a 5 is my highest roll.
So the
You mean
math
a
ain't
6?
mathing on that one.
6 for your D8?
Man rolled a 9 on a
No.
D8. What the hell?
Oh, that's a d10. Oh my gosh, no wonder.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Don't
7.
sandbag
7.
us. This is the first time playing Grimwild.
Sorry.
All right, so you rolled a
Sorry,
7
guys.
on your thorn, and what was the highest d6 you rolled?
5.
A 5. So a 4 and a 5 would be a messy. However, with your thorn, that takes you down to a grim there. So as you kind of appear, you still as you try to summon this weapon, as you kind of teleport in, they're very quick to turn, and the one with the kind of like the giant sword cracks at you. You're going to mark your, let's see, you're going to take a harm on your strength there. So how that works is basically normally if you just take one light hit, it would be a mark. However, you're going to
Okay.
take a harm on there. So the harm will not go away until you get a moment to rest or you spend some kind of way to heal it up, whether that be through a spell or something like that. Every time you use that stat until you remove that harm, every time you roll, you will take an additional thorn until you clear that harm.
Okay. Is that the bloodied?
Yes, you'll also be bloodied. When you take harm, you're also bloodied.
I just want to make sure it was that one and not the rattled.
Correct. Yep.
Hey, Fry.
Let's say LPD. Yes.
Quick note for the GM too. I didn't mention this, but as the warlock, I have the pact, which gives me gifts. I didn't roll those at the beginning. I just rolled them. I got a 4 and a
Oh,
5.
yeah.
What the gift does is
Mhm.
let me basically use this 4 and 5 and replace any D6 roll of anyone at any time. So just throwing it out there that I have that
Gotcha.
available.
Okay. 4 and 5. Okay. And then
Good.
so yeah, so as you peer in, you go to summon the sword, but as you're trying to make it, and as right before the form kind of finalizes, this guy with the sword just comes up and cracks you along the side there. Giant gash across the chest, and you take this bloodied condition, as well as marking a harm on your strength.
Ouch.
And then I'll basically throw it back to you. So it kind of works like Daggerheart, right? Is it just the as I use my impact move, that kind of like spotlight, quote unquote, kind of goes back to y'all, and I'm just reacting to what y'all do.
And if I can, gentlemen, I'm going to rush up there and just start launching arrows at the one that attacked Balfour.
Okay, perfect.
And if,
Go ahead and roll me an agility. Again, you'll take as you get closer, since you still have some of that distance, you'll take a thorn as you're trying to. They're kind of up in the mix and all that stuff too. So go ahead and roll that for me.
can I also add in a hallucination poison?
Absolutely. So how that will work is you will roll those. I think it's a 4D pool. You'll roll those 4D sixes. For every 1 through 3, you'll take that away, and basically you'll do that every time you use a poison until you run out of dice.
Okay. I'm going to roll the poison first.
Okay.
And what was the roll? You said it was every time
So
I
that
what?
so every time you roll a 1, 2, or 3, you'll remove that from the pool. So you always roll the pool whenever you use the poison, and then you just keep removing the 1 through 3s. And then once you basically remove them all, you're out of poisons until it says you can replenish them.
Fantastic. So I rolled 1 6, 2 1s, and 1 2. So
Yeah, so you have 1d6 now remaining in your pool of poisons.
fantastic. All right. And then with me doing this, am I still able to use my hunter's mark with this?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to declare a weakness on the non-humanoid creature, which is this white.
Mhm.
What exactly would you say I would see, at least with this weakness?
So you get to decide, really. It's up to you what you think. You could say, oh, they are, as you get closer, and especially as you tell we're in, you can tell they're undead. So you could say, hey, his leg doesn't have flesh on it, so it's kind of like a weak point. He kind of like limps on this one leg, or it could be that uh, you could decide, oh, he's weak to fire, and then anybody who tries to use fire gets to capitalize on that.
Okay.
So it's up
I
to
like
you.
that,
You kind of
actually.
get to decide what the weakness is.
I like that a lot. But I will go with that. He does have like missing armor along his chest area, and particularly under the arms where the pits are kind of a little more exposed than what otherwise would be. And then tagging it with a 2D weakness pool.
Yep. So basically, anytime someone capitalizes on that weakness, so if you specifically want to like aim for the gaps in those armor, you'll roll that 2D weakness pool along with your attack. And
Okay.
basically, it's the same thing, kind of as that pool goes away, they kind of learn to shore up their weakness. So he can be like, oh, he's trying to attack me in the gap, so he'll kind of like block it up more. But until they clear that, I believe it says you add an additional dice to any rolls that you do. Is what it.
Yes. So, let's see. Take spark when the creature falls. Okay, that's when the creature falls. When anyone targets the weakness, roll a pool as bonus dice on their roll. Okay,
Yeah, you roll the pool
gotcha.
as bonus die as it depletes.
Yeah. Okay, so it's only when we're utilizing that weakness. I'm not utilizing that
Oh,
weakness. I'm just merely marking them for this particular roll.
gotcha.
So that way, maybe Balfour
Yeah.
can get
So
in there and
yeah,
bite
basically what it
face.
would be is, say if you would roll 3d6, you would technically roll 5d6. You just have to determine which two dice are the part of the hunter's mark. And then
Okay.
as you use them up, they kind of go away.
Sweet. All right, so I'm going to roll my 3d6 for the attack. That is a 6 and 2 3s.
Perfect. So that is, you get Basically, as long as you roll a 6, that is a perfect. Did you roll your thorn as well?
Oh, no, I did not.
Yes.
I rolled a 2.
Perfect. So a 6 is a perfect. That basically means you get exactly what you want there. That's perfect. So as you kind of take up your shot, you're getting lucky on my end. You get at just the right angle. As he kind of comes down with his sword, he gets to kind of lean forward on it, just as the guy with the flail kind of like tries to lean back, and with like perfect precision, you kind of like take an arrow through one's head and it pops through and strikes the other in the head, and you knock both of them down.
Oh, shoot.
Nice.
So basically, how that enemy worked is I had 2 dice pool, and I rolled a 1, a 2, and 2 threes. So literally pulled all of their dice pool. So boom, boom, you got them both,
Damn.
and that is kind of all that was chasing them there. Yeah, sometimes it gets real swingy on both ends, so that was really cool.
What up?
And so these die again. I guess they were undead creatures. Fall right there in front of you, with this family kind of cowering over there on the side, like crying, kind of holding each other. They thought they were about to be eaten alive, but they've been saved here.
Nice. Was that all of them?
Yeah, that was all that you saw there.
I just want to say we distracted them for you, True. I don't want you taking all that credit. So the double headshot was definitely thanks to my teleporting. I just throw that out.
Definitely.
Oh, when you did that, I would have been like, take me back, take me back, take me back. I'm not a willing creature. I'm not a willing creature.
As you guys are kind of grabbing your bearings, so to speak, like brush them off. Was it Rathgar, right? Rathgar.
Yes.
Flexing on them, basically double tapped all these monsters here. One of the members of the family kind of shouts back out to you, please, you have to go, you have to save them. They came out of nowhere, and they're just kind of like panic screaming, and just kind of like shouting over each other, almost like begging you to run towards Bastion there.
What's over there? More of these things?
More, hundreds. They appeared out of nowhere. It's like they just, one second it was clear, and the next they were just rising from the ground around. Bastion is surrounded.
What do you guys say? Should we go?
Rushing off right now.
Oh,
Come
okay.
on.
We must go
Hold
now.
up,
Grab onto me. I'll try to do the Wayfarer
Okay.
again and teleport straight to Bastion.
Beautiful. Let's see.
There's
Is it
no
just
limit.
the 2 of you, or is it me too?
I can take everyone. There's no limit. I just got to roll double
Oh,
thorns.
shit.
Yeah, you'll have to roll double thorns. Let me see the Wayfarer.
I'll read the whole thing. So I can push myself to teleport. The further or less familiar, the less precise it is. But we're from Bastion. The maximum range is 2 days rides away. Anything within clear eyesight
Yeah,
with
you're
no
definitely-
obstruction is no roll. Otherwise, make a story roll, which is up to you. But 2d6 normally, I think. And then plus 2 thorns for the 2 people.
Okay, so you can push yourself to roll. So since you teleported once, you get 1 for free, right? So whenever you push yourself, you basically have to take a mark, which is not the harm. Also, you can clear the harm, I'd say, in this time. You'll get like kind of some time to rest as you're kind of like for the purposes of the one shot. We're going to speed up the healing process a bit.
Okay.
So you can clear that
Let's clear
for
that shit.
Balfour there, and then
Both of them or just the one?
you can clear it. You can clear both.
Okay.
So you get 1 free push. After that, you have to roll or you have to take a mark, essentially. So with this, since it's your kind of spell casting, I'll say you'll take a mark on your presence, and then what that does is just the next time you make a presence roll, you'll roll a thorn on it, but then you clear the mark, so it goes away. So not as bad as a harm. But you can go ahead. I will say you'll make the story roll. It'll be in your favor since you're not that far and you do know the place. And typically you would be able to see it if the fog wasn't so dense. So we'll actually do a 3d6 story roll.
Okay, bet. I have 3d6
with your
queued
2
up.
thorns.
All right,
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
roll these first. Let's see here. I got a 5, 2, 3. And then the thorns is a 2 and a 5.
Perfect. So we'll take the 5. So that one is a a messy, so you do get there, you get what you want. So as you are, um, you gather up your friends, you kind of bamf out of there, and you appear
I would take us to the
right
Starlight
on the
Gardens, my tree where I'm
perfect. So
familiar
you're
with.
trying to go to the Starlight Gardens. I'll say with that the messy there as you try to take them, you have the gardens in your mind. Um, but as you get there, the Bastion has a kind of magical barrier around it. As you are from there and you do have special permissions, you can obviously travel in and out no problem, and even with your magic, but it does kind of disrupt your teleport and actually takes you just to the wall of the city, right there on the outskirts. And as you appear there, it is absolute chaos on the inside as people are scrambling, panicking. And as you turn around and look out, you see this giant, massive horde of zombies, similar to what you've faced there just now. It's got some of those tougher elite mobs as well. And you notice kind of surrounding Mash, and from what you could see, you could probably see one or two of them, of these like giant balls of arcane energy. Some of them are kind of like zapping and blasting at the magic barrier that is around there, normally invisible, but you see the energy kind of cracking as it is trying to destroy the barrier out there. And off very far in the distance with the fog, you can't quite see what it is, but you do see this almost magical energy radiating off of something, someone you're not quite sure, as well as you hear a smashing against a wall somewhere along the town. But basically, you see this undead army, so to speak, besieging the outside of Bastion, trying to break down whatever barriers that it can, but they have not quite made it inside just yet.
Yeah,
Did you know that that barrier has been around for more than 250 years?
not important right now, but that's pretty cool.
I mean,
Oh,
we need to
at
make sure it
all.
stays up. Is what I'm trying to say. Like it's been here forever, so we need to whatever
So
that
attack.
thing is. Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna just start rushing in
Rushing into town or rushing into the horde?
towards the horde and just trying to fire off as much as I can at that point. Like whatever's a good vantage point to where they would have to come to me for the most part, but still wanted to like try and pick him off as he's like trying to talk through like the barrier's 250. Just keep going.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll say, for the purpose of the story, like you can do that if unless there's like a specific kind of like target, because it's like like hundreds of them along the wall. So you're on the wall, kind of like the
Oh, okay.
yeah. So like you're on the guard wall, so to speak, of the town. So they're trying to break in. No one's made it inside the town yet. The panic is coming from the people trying to figure out like what they're gonna do, right? From the way it's surrounded, you know that there are probably like little ways they could get civilians in and out, but there's no way to like mass evacuate people because normally it's a marching
Hmm.
army and they have time. And from what they described, and you can see it there on the ground, as you're kind of running along the wall, taking pop shots and just trying to get an assessment of the situation. Like the ground itself looks like it was ripped up, so it looks like for some reason it looks like everything, this army kind of crawled out of the ground almost.
Okay. And you said I know where the
I would say,
evacuation point is on that stuff.
yeah, there's like little like tunnels here and there that you could probably people could start like leaving out through. They're just kind of like, um, for lack of a better term, just kind of like escape tunnels, like emergency tunnels where people can go in and out of the city, but they're not like giant and mass. They're not meant to handle like Bastion houses like thousands of people. It is like the
Right.
largest town in this area. So that might have been where that family you saw came through, but it's not meant to kind of like cram a bunch of civilians in through for an escape.
So then can I like get somebody to direct them to like are they going that way or are they just like mass chaos and they're just running around right now?
Right now it's just kind of mass chaos. You do know, like you do see some guards here and there. There's like armored cavalry, like some people cavalry, some kind of foot soldiers. Um, they don't have like an established militia army per se, but they just
Mhm.
have kind of like elite soldiers. Um, that kind of go out on like small missions here and there. You do know there is, sorry, let me find, there it is. I'm like, I got bunch of reference stuff lying around here. The town itself, Bastion, is ran by Baron Malkon, so the Baron of the town. Um, he is the leader, so to speak, of Bastion. You would know he would probably be up near like Old Bastion Keep or something like that. That's typically where they, kind of operate out of for mission planning. So you would assume that's probably where they went right now. That's where all like kind of leadership would be. Other than that, it's just kind of guards like trying to tell people to calm down, but also trying to figure out what they're going to do as well.
So then, if
Alrighty.
I can direct a couple of guards to like start, tell them like where to go, like have people start moving towards to evacuate them out as we're just leaning over trying to take shots at these zombies and these whites and magical things. Um, yeah, I think that'd be where I'd be focusing primarily is like get these folks out of here before they get killed.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. So you find you just kind of like shout out, do give some commands. Y'all are well known enough to when they see y'all, they know that you're kind of like on the upper echelon of like uh not necessarily formal military, but they know you're recognizable. They very quickly they kind of like perk up, kind of like snap back to reality, and they start trying to like funnel some people as best they can. They can't quite get everyone, but those that will listen, they kind of start directing them around. And then as you are doing that, you hear a giant boom as whatever kind of ram or whatever it is coming hits portion of the wall somewhere, and you hear a loud crack. Don't hear anything crumble just yet, but you hear a large, loud crack as what you assume is the wall kind of fissure, and you probably think at any moment that wall is probably going to start crumbling down.
Am I on that right now?
No, it is not necessarily like
Okay,
where you are standing, but along the wall that you're on somewhere.
sweet.
Great.
Um, Basant,
Boys, what are
what
you
are
doing?
you doing?
I'm just trying to think of obviously we can probably hear the direction that's coming from. I would try to climb down or scale down to get closer to where they might be breaking into. Um I don't know how this works necessarily in this system, but I do have the background of Ragamuffin, so I have hidden paths and street smarts and things like that. So I assume I know this city very well and how to get kind of in and out of things.
Absolutely, yeah. So I would say then no kind of like agility or movement roll required there. You're very easily able to kind of like, jump from like the wall onto like a tarp of like a merchant stand, kind of slide down. You have a very acrobatic way in which you move through the city. Um, and as you get kind of closer, you hear the screams and the panic, and you kind of follow that, assuming that's where it's going to be. And as you kind of round a corner, you see what it is, and it's basically it looks like a dam that's about to break, right? It is a very fractured, shattered wall. Um, there is some kind of large object entity on the other side that is kind of hitting it over and over again, and it's just waiting for that right leverage to kind of break through.
Um, I was. Can I say I was following him?
Absolutely.
Okay. I didn't want to be like, oh,
The
I'll
best
go
you
jump down
can
too.
as a heavy set
Um,
orc. No.
yeah, I know.
I'm
I'm like
I'm
running like a
parkouring through the
blueberry, pretty
city.
much.
Uh,
Yeah, as best you can. And actually, you can go
Um,
ahead and give me a agility roll just to see how well you're able to. Because, like I said, it is a large crowd, so there won't be any thorns. It's the act of rolling that is kind of the risk that you're facing, right? Is them like you're trying to get through the people in the town. So whatever your agility or brawn, I'll let you pick if you're just kind of like pushing through people or if you're trying to like dodge out of the way of people to follow him.
and I
I rolled an agility and I got a 5. So
didn't see
should be
you
fine.
roll.
Fine.
He's like, I rolled and 5. I didn't see you move.
That's
No.
good. No, you still. So five's still messy, right? So as you're kind of you did agility. So as you're kind of dodging and weaving through them, right? You are able to get there just fine, but you do kind of like I don't want to say twist and that it's like permanent, but I'll say you kind of like, jab your ankle a little bit. So go ahead and mark your agility um, for now. As you kind of like round the corner and you kind of like limp up. Nothing crazy, but kind of like banged up your ankle there a little bit.
I would like to
Let's see.
if he's here with me, I'd like to call out to him like, Balfour, are you fine? And kind of address his ankle really quick.
I'm just a little tired. My ankle. I think I hit my ankle on a root back there in there. But
Can you push through?
yes.
Give me your blade. Are you using a sword? What's your weapon?
No. Well, it's gone now.
Okay.
It's like made of it's made of like ectoplasm.
Oh, gross.
So
Never
Ectoplasm.
mind.
I
Right
think
on.
I don't. Do I still have that, by the way?
No, so you actually, because you rolled a 5 and then your thorn cut it to a grim. So with the grim, it didn't actually form. You got like basically blasted with that sword before you're able to
Yeah.
actually make it physical.
Okay, so I don't.
Did you want one?
No, it's fine. Just want to make sure
Okay.
you're okay.
What? Okay.
As you are kind of like talking, you're looking, tending to as whenever finally the last big bash hits that wall and rubble debris goes flying everywhere, and immediately you just see a horde of like little zombies burst through and they immediately scatter and they just start flooding into the town. Um, and I'll leave it at that while you guys kind of react to that. It's like this wall breaks, you guys kind of like bury your footing, and they just kind of like swarm in. Some go to attack some civilians, some can just keep rushing on. They look like they're just kind of flooding in and just getting to where they can.
All right. I want to use my telepathy.
Okay.
And I want to try to. I guess I don't need a roll yet, but I'll try to take control or tell the big guy that broke through the wall to start attacking the other zombies around him.
Interesting. Let me see what that
If that's a,
Mind
it does say I
control.
can implant a
mine is gonna be
fleeting
very low. Let's see.
suggestion, like tell him that the zombies around him are actually his enemy. Is what I want to try to do.
Implant a fleeting suggestion. I will say. Hmm. I think that might be too far out of a fleeting suggestion because these are his like quote unquote allies. That would be more like to convince someone to like a guard to walk away from their post
Okay.
kind of thing, as opposed to like attack your allies.
Okay.
Could have him walk away.
But I would say you could
Yeah.
either read
The
his
big guy
thoughts,
just puts
call.
his
Yeah, you could
weapon
tell him to
down and
walk
walks
away.
away.
Yeah. I think I'll have him
He's
try
like,
to
"Ah,
walk
never
away.
mind.
Be like,
This is boring."
he broke down the wall and that was his job and that was it and now he's done.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead and give me what is that? Your wits plus presence
Mm-hmm.
dice
Plus
pool -2, I think it
1,
is.
-2.
Yeah, so it's like your
Oh yeah.
wits. What? Uh,
Oh yeah. 2.
yeah, it's like
So,
adding the amount of your wits and your presence, and then subtracting 2, and that's how many d6s you roll.
oh yeah. And then I get to add 1 extra because of the wilder,
Because
and
of
then
your
1 thorn
wilder.
as well.
Also, you can never ignore thorns. Okay, yeah. So then that +1 dice, and then a +1 to thorn.
So 3 and 1.
3 and 1.
Oh,
So
sorry. Oh, I just rolled. It's a 5 and 5. So
so 5 is what you rolled on your d6s.
5 is what I rolled to. Yep, on my d6. I had a 1 and a 2 as the other one, and then a 5 on my d8.
Okay, so what's the highest d6 you rolled? Because you don't add them
5.
together. I think you might have added
Yeah,
them together.
just 5.
Okay, so 5 and then no thorn. Okay, cool. So with the 5, you as you kind of, reach out psychically to this creature, and as the dust kind of clears, you see it's this giant um kind of like a mishmashed um zombie, kind of like parts put together kind of thing, like a patchwork. If you played World of Warcraft, like the patchwork boss is kind of like what he looked like. As you kind of reach out and tell him to kind of back away, you do see him stops, and like you kind of see him register, and he like slowly turns and walks away. And in your time of trying to focus in on that, a couple zombies kind of swarm up and they go to swipe at you there. You do take a mark on your brawn as these you're able to kind of like convince them to go out, but it distracts you enough as like two or three of these zombies kind of like come up and kind of like rough you up a little bit.
Alrighty. Well, great.
All right, and then
He's like, great.
so right, so you got him to go away, but
I
you
did
do
what I
take a little.
wanted.
And
That's
basically, what
perfect
that
though.
is when you get a 4 to 5 is what's called a messy in the system. So it's messy is you kind of get what you want, but something kind of bad happens in doing that. So basically, you're trying to roll a 4, 5, or 6 to get what you want to do. It's just a 4 or 5. You kind of have a consequence to whatever it is you're trying to do. So I'll throw this back to Rathgar then. So as you're kind of like taking your pop shots and you finally hear this wall kind of break and you look over and you see the swarm come in, little kind of psychic energy, maybe a swirl so on this big patchwork thing as it turns around, you look and you kind of see your friend there get kind of swarmed up by zombies.
Fantastic. Assuming that my buddy's going to be at least okay, because there's 2 of them down there, so they should be
There's 2
semi
of them down
okay.
there.
Do I see those magical ones, the ones that were like casting arcane, like using arcane powers and stuff?
Yeah, so I'll say as you take a kind of a good look at them, what they look like is these just like balls of energy. They various different colors. They don't have a specific form per se,
Okay.
but they're just like these like balls of energy. And you can see one that's kind of relatively close. And as you look down, you see maybe a couple 100 feet, you see like another one. They're not all blasting necessarily at the town and at this like kind of magical shield. Um, I'll say the one in front of you kind of is. It's got this like almost evocation kind of magic, this like pure energy that's firing at the magical war. But it, like I said, it's just like a spell, almost like a living spell. Like it's just a ball of energy.
Okay. Um, assuming that I'm not gonna, well, I guess I would test the waters on this one and try and take a shot at it just to see if I'm gonna have any effect at all whatsoever.
Okay, absolutely.
Let's see here. Got a 4.
You got a 4. So as you kind of take your pop shots at it there, go with a so as you take the shot at it, you see it almost like resist for a second. The arrow does kind of puncture through and disperse it though, but as it does, it kind of retaliates and it shoots this lightning bolt um, back at your body. We're gonna go ahead and kind of like shocks and kind of charge you up a bit. We're gonna go with agility. You're gonna mark an agility or mark your
Okay.
agility. So the next time you roll agility, you'll take 1 thorn, but then it will clear.
Okay.
But you do see that
Sweet.
spell just kind of shatter, and it just kind of lashes back with magic at you.
Am I able to like get moving, like satisfied that that's been done after being hit, and just start moving towards, the rest of them, at least along the wall and trying to line up good shots? Not that I'm getting there yet, but
Yeah, absolutely. So you can kind of make your way down the wall there.
Okay.
Basam, what are you doing as he kind of is hopping on the wall, making his way to the next kind of like living spell there? Um,
Sure.
yes.
So just make sure I got a full account of everything. So I'm here with Alfor. I have eyes on Rathgar. There's spellcasting type enemies that are, kind of senses
They're
in the
like kind
way.
of floating outside the wall. So probably from where you're at on the ground, you can't see them, but you did see them before you kind of jumped down.
And there was only one big guy, and he seems to have been turning the other way.
So far, you just at this point, from what you can see, is these zombies have started flooding into this breach, and I'd say even at this point, you're starting to hear kind of like the cries and screams of people like kind of being mauled and attacked.
Yeah. Okay. Well, assuming that this is the only entry point that we've seen or heard be broken, I'm gonna try to see if I can use some of my spellcasting abilities to block that hole in the wall. Do you think I would be able to do a potent spell by using my primordial bonds? I can use 2 usages of this if that's what it requires to do a potent spell. and I will try to do kind of like a flame wall, basically in place of where the hole might be, to at least stop the incoming hordes or have them get burned as they're like entering through.
Yeah, for sure. Let me double check. So it just says you can push yourself to.
No, this one's a little bit different. So I can mark 2 usages of a single element, so double fire, to
That's
cast
right.
a potent spell. And let's see here, I can, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's one
Yeah,
potent
you can
spell.
only twice your you can mark 2 uses of single to cast a potent spell. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So yeah, that just basically just happens, right? So as they're kind of flooding in, you're almost perfectly mimicking the stone structure of the wall, and you see this giant, like, kind of flame wall appear. And I'll say it even almost kind of like turns to magma as it kind of solidifies and makes a kind of new wall there. So you've kind of staunched the flow from now, and you just kind of have these couple dozen zombies that have kind of scattered throughout the town. And you just hear kind of various screams spreading throughout the town as they're, mauling someone or breaking into a building or doing something.
And I would probably call out to Balfour as well and be like, we have to kill them quickly, something like that.
course,
The
of
the
course, of
ones that
course.
got in, obviously.
Cool. So with that, do you, I guess, kind of make your way towards a sound or a group or whatever?
Um, yeah, I mean, understanding that Balfour maybe has a few on him, I would immediately try to like protect him
Yes,
first.
he
But
does have this.
once I
Yeah.
can help him
I'll
be
say as he's
mobile as
doing
well.
that, yeah, as you kind of make that wall, Balfour, what do you do about these 3 little zombies, or 3-ish or so? The amounts of creatures is kind of abstract because I roll dice pools to see how until you kill them. So you
Oh,
just kind of have like a 2 or 3, I'd say, kind of on you, so to speak.
I want to use my one of my PowerPoints for a meta creation to create like a I guess two what do they call it, like fists on around my fists with like the ectoplasm to make a little bit stronger of an attack on these things
Ooh, beefy.
because they're up on me, so I want to
Okay,
kind of
for sure.
punch them away.
Go ahead and basically make your roll with that. So whatever the math is on those for that dice pool.
I like the Scion,
So
dude. They're just
And if you,
scrapping any way they can. I appreciate that. It's like
so
sword
and then I
or
say
magma
you have
fist.
4d6s, 4d6s, and 2 thorns.
yes, because you have that thorn for your brawn.
Yep, and the yeah. So
Yeah, the wilder.
I got 2 for my d6, and I got a 7 for my thorn. I rolled
Oh
I
no.
rolled 2 7s for my thorn, if that makes it even worse.
That does make it worse, kind of, because
No.
you can't go any lower than what you did. So, um,
Can
let me
can I
look up
use
something real
Eldeber's
quick.
power to re-roll one of those? I understand he got 4d6, and the highest you got was a 2.
A 2. I got 2 1s and 2 2s.
Yeah. So you could
I'll use
you
a
could replace
gift
that
to
too with a.
re-roll at least one of those. So we'll see if it does
Okay, does it
anything.
just replace it or does it roll it?
Oh, I'm sorry, replaces it. You're right. So I'll give you a 5 instead of a 1.
That's beautiful, dude. Okay, so you have that 5. Uh, but you rolled a 2 7s.
Yeah, it's still
Oh
bad.
yes.
I understand that.
It's it's still bad, I think, no matter what,
Well,
right?
Yeah.
so you don't really have to do that because either way, he's getting a disaster. Because it's either
Right,
the
then
2
I'll
gets cut
save it.
down.
Then I'll save it.
I just
Yeah,
save it.
I was
Use
gonna
it. Save
go
it.
ahead. So with the disaster, oh, let me look up a disaster. I didn't know I was gonna get a disaster so quick.
You should have looked that up. Come on, you knew we would fuck this up immediately.
I should have known it
Should
was
have
Joe
created 2
too.
characters.
I'm
What the
surprised it
heck?
didn't happen sooner. To be honest with you, we started with a double headshot instead of a disaster somehow.
Okay, so I'm going to read disaster. So disaster happened when a grim, which is what you had, is cut by a thorn. Whatever the risk was before, double it. The worst case scenario comes to pass. So I'm going to say as you go to kind of swing on them, it's just kind of a swing and a miss. Like you kind of go, and as you're doing it, it like kind of like slashes at your arm, and as you try to like go up and like kind of like protect yourself there, and they're just kind of like they just kind of start like stomping on you, right? Like they just kind of beat you up real quick. Um, you are. I want you to go ahead and take a harm on your brawn. I want you
Okay.
to. It will still clear because you rolled the thorn, but now you're just at a harm. You are bloodied, I think, with that,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna say you are bleeding out currently. So you're gonna take a 4D dice pool of bleeding out. And whenever I tell you to, you're going to basically roll that pool. Same thing, you'll take the ones through threes out. If that pool ends before you get some kind of healing, you will die.
Cool.
So you see this as you kind of throw this wall up and you turn back to look at your friend. He is just getting absolutely mauled by this group of zombies.
We supposed to win this?
There is a win state.
It better not be Iowa.
It is not Iowa. So what do you?
I-
And I'll even
I-
say you see this too, Rathgar, as you're kind of like running, you're like, yeah, you're feeling good, you blew this spell up. You see him throw up this wall. It's like it's almost like, oh man, I can't like make it because there's this giant wall now, and he throws this wall up, and you're like, yeah, and as you're running across the cooled magma, and you look down and you also see your friend being mauled by these zombies.
Righteous. God.
And I will throw that to you, the two of you, what you would like to do.
When am I supposed to roll these?
What kind of whenever it's the pools don't really have a set thing. They're kind of like when it makes sense in the moment. So I'll give them a
Okay.
chance to kind of react, and then we'll like roll.
Okay. Didn't know if I had to do it now and I just get all ones or something, I die.
No, I'll give them one chance to kind of help you out here.
Okay.
Can I jump down from where I'm at and like draw blades kind of thing and just start slashing away at the ones that are on him?
Absolutely. I'll say as you swap to melee weapons, we'll call this one brawn. So your melee is typically going to be your brawn. Your range is going to kind of be your agility. So we'll go with brawn on this one.
Can I, if he's like, let's make this heroic if we can. I don't know how this works, but as
I'll
I
give
see
you a
him
chance.
jumping in, can I, by chance, right? Obviously, you can say no.
Mhm.
Damn, I use my primordial bonds. Never mind.
So I think
I'll sit and
you still have your air, earth, and water. You just used your fire one, but you still have one of each
Yeah,
element.
no,
They're
I think
just not potent spells
I
or
used
regular
two
spells.
of them.
But I think it
Okay,
says
I
you
have
have
one
one
each.
for
I have one
each.
each. You're right.
Yes. So you just don't have the fire potent. So you just can't cast potent spells. So potent spells can do like big great things. Your normal spells
Yeah.
can like basically you can trade a spell to like take out a kind of a mob that's not a boss or anything like
I
that,
was
or
trying
do
to
things equivalent.
do like an enhancement spell on him. Like as I see him jump in, like kind of pulls blade out. Can I like emblazon his blade or something to give it like an extra die? I don't know. That's kind of powerful, but
I'll say you can. I would let you use like air and to kind of give it a little more, Naruto vibes, like getting more cutting power by like covering his blades in like this razor sharp air, and you can add an extra d6 to your attack roll with it
Nice.
okay, I'll do that.
for sure. So yeah, that's basically
Fantastic.
how buffs work. You just kind of describe how the buff
All I can
works,
do,
and
guys.
it kind of depends on the scenario. But yeah, you can see him pull these swords out, and as you like pull your swords and you land, you go to make your attack. You see, I'd say familiar at this point. This like wind kind of spin around the blade for a second and then just kind of like flatten out, and it has that like razor sharp edge like gleam to it, and you can kind of feel the wind like vibrating on the blades.
Fucking righteous. Let's do it.
So now you'll roll your no thorns on this one, I believe. Yeah, because I marked your agility.
None.
So with the brawn, yeah. So whatever your brawn score is, add an extra d6 to that.
I rolled a 6 and a 2.
Ooh.
Dang, dude, you got a perfect every time. So as you
I
come
got
down
freaking
on these
lucky.
things, the wind is
There's
just you
always
just
some
feeling it
really
on the
well.
wind and
Yeah, he
it's
does.
like I'll let you describe how you kind of dance through and you chop these 3 zombies down.
Yeah, coming down, I almost wanted to like the blade to like obviously pull him in midair. The little razor sharp air thing that he does on my blade just emanates right then and there. And as I come through, just start cutting the ones that are just curb stomping his ass into the ground right now, and just start slicing through them. And then almost like dancing, like that kind of like dancing sort of strikes that kind of rip through as we go, just trying to clear him from being attacked at the moment and hopefully hold the breach in a sense.
Okay. Uh, ooh, go ahead, Joe. Let's roll your bleeding out pool. So you'll roll 4
Here we go.
d6s, take out all the 1 through 3s.
1. That's it.
You just
I only
remove
got to
it?
take that
No,
one
I'll
off.
Remove
switch
I just
it.
removed 1.
If that's bad, I'll switch it with a 5.
No, I removed it. I removed
Oh,
1.
okay, okay,
I
okay.
had 3 left.
Yeah, so he still has 3 dice left. Okay, cool. So,
Yeah.
you boom, 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 slice through them. You look down. Give me a story roll, Joe. Just roll 2 d6. Tell me what you get.
It's cocked.
Does he get a health potion?
A 3, and a 1.
A 3 and a 1. So for those there, that was going to kind of determine what is bleeding out here. So I'm gonna say it is specifically your leg, right there on the thigh, the meaty part where all that nice juicy veins and arteries are. That is what's currently squirting kind of blood everywhere right now. But that's you remove that one pull from the thing, and you see like one like giant like squirt of blood come out of his artery there.
Does anyone have T triple C? Anybody?
Anybody roll
Is
for
anyone
T?
certified?
T
You know,
triple
you
sumption.
guys are adventurers. You do know, and I would say you even have stuff to make things like tourniquets and things like that.
I just have this rope on me. Help!
Are all
I'm like pushing on
the
it to.
are all the
It-
zombies kind of out of our current area at the moment?
Yes, so with that, the zombies for the most part are just kind of mook enemies, so you can take out a group of them with one roll. So yeah, the
That's good
ones
to
that
know.
were on him, he just kind of sliced through all of them real quick.
Any chance I can use my abilities to cauterize him at all?
Cauterize the wound? I would
It's
say
stronger than a cantrip, maybe, but burning touch is something I have. If I can just like touch him and kind of sear the flesh. Hate to say that, but
yeah, I would say that is fine because he is still you still have that harm on your um brawn there. And I'll say right with that with the harm, you're still rolling a thorn on every single roll that you have now. So I would say that's still a fair trade. So I'll say you can cauterize that wound. You still have the bloodied condition, the harm and all that.
yeah.
Sorry, my
So
nose is getting worse. So sorry for anyone who has to listen to me right now.
no, you're good. So I would,
Be sorry
what that
for
looks
us.
like narratively is just me running to him, pulling the lamp off of my side, and kind of pressing it into his skin wherever the cuts or gashes may be to cauterize it, and the lamp, becomes red and heated to the touch as it kind of sears into him. Stabilize him as best I
Then
can.
yeah, I will say, when you did roll that disaster, though, you did take a spark. So you have a spark. You can use that spark to roll an additional d6 on any roll that you want. You
Oh,
can have no more than 2. I'll say everyone starts with 1. I guess I should have said at the beginning. So you all have 1 spark that you can use to just add a d6 to any one roll, and then it goes away. And you have 2. I'll give you 2 right now. Typically, you get them from like resolving story arcs and stuff like that. So we're not going to really run into that here. So we'll all start with 1.
I did,
cool.
by the way, take one from my hunter's mark for felling the creature that I had hunter's marked because it says take
Oh, then
spark
you
when
have
the
2
creature
as well.
falls. Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty
Perfect.
cool. I do
Okay.
like that. That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so that's where we're at now. You've taken off kind of the group that he's on. He is stable, I will say for now. You do hear kind of shouts and screams from these zombies coming out. You do still hear the magic, like kind of assaults and attacks going on. There is another, attempt to kind of like break in, but for right now, in the current area you're at, you're clear. There's some more zombies kind of floating around there.
Can we tell, is this attack at, like, maybe we can't, but is this towards any specific thing? Like, are they trying to get into the, like, keep or the capital, or are they just like, it's just an
They're
assault?
currently just trying to break into Bastion itself. There's just an assault on the outskirts of town. No one except for that little bit. Nothing has gotten inside yet, and you've kind of hold that up for now. But you do hear more attacks happening throughout the Bastion there.
Guess
Alrighty.
we'll just encourage Rathgar to lay some fire down. Maybe some Scion bolts
All
from
right, so
Balfour.
then what I'll do is I'll put my blades away and I'll start moving back. Do I have another one of those arcane kind of like spell creatures situated near me, or do we have to move to try and get one of those?
You can see it, but you do have to kind of move to get to it. It will require some kind of ranged attack for all of them too. Um, But if you're making your way towards there, I'd say you a way to kind of get back up to the wall. There's obviously steps, right? That's not like a
Yeah.
unmanned kind of thing. As you come up there and you're looking for the next spark, you see now as the kind of assault has started to commence right there. As you first arrived, they were kind of like as an army kind of making their way through. But now they're all kind of getting closer. There's more. You have the like, kind of zombies that are all kind of mindless and thrashing kind of at the wall, but you do see they're starting to get more of their organized undead, whatever, a little closer to the wall. And out there in the distance, what you saw to be that kind of magical glow is getting closer. Uh, I would say, Basam, you, due to your background, are more familiar with kind of more exotic creatures and things of the world. You recognize this. Let me find the descriptor of this. You see this kind of robed floating figure, kind of skeletal hands, tattered robes. It has this kind of hoarse incantation that it's kind of muttering that you can kind of just barely hear over the thrum and hum and shouts. Uh, and it's kind of like almost burning incense kind of feel to it as this lich is floating kind of over the army towards the keep there.
Oh,
Alrighty.
brother. So I don't know it by like name or anything. I just know the creature type, right?
I would say no, you don't know it by name, but you recognize the creature. It is still some ways off, probably a couple 100 feet away. But as they're kind of appearing and all that, the mist is kind of scattering just due to the presence, and it's becoming more clear what is out there.
Get-
We'll just call to the other two and be like, I think I found the source of it. And kind of point that direction so they can acknowledge that it's there.
Should we head to it, or should we let it wait for it to get in here?
I think we should dispatch it of that immediately.
Okay. Okay. Should we go through the open door, the open wall? I think that's it.
No, don't you know anything of me? Grab on, and I'm doing the
There we
Wayfarer
go,
again, dude.
dude.
I'm gonna abuse this talent to hell and back.
Awesome.
I want to try.
Let's see. Because you teleported in, so you took that mark, but then I'll say you you cleared it. It was part of like your spell casting when you like kind of raised that wall. So you will have to take a mark again on your presence, but it will just be a mark again. But did you say you wanted to try and do something before or after you bamf away? Balfour
After.
okay.
I'll grab
You
hold of both of
can
us if you're willing there, Rathgar.
Yeah, I was running up
Okay.
to try and attack one of the spells, one of those little spell creatures. So you guys are down on the ground, then bamf to me, bamf out. I don't know.
I mean, he's doing his thing, so if he ain't
I'll let
coming with, you know,
I was like,
he'll
if you
catch
want to
up.
try, because you have some time to communicate and all that. If you want to try and take a pop shot at one before you go, or if you want to stay back, they're going to go a couple 100 feet out. So once they're gone, you would basically have to make your way through this horde of undead that are kind of pooling
Yeah.
up there. So I'll let you go ahead. This one,
Leaving him wouldn't be my intention
is-
either. So, you know, I'd kind of linger
Especially
a bit.
with hearing that, like, I would want to go back, but it's one of those, like, he is very much so intent on trying to take these things out as much as possible. So,
Oh, beautiful. So as you come up to this one here, this one has a kind of e I'd say like a reddish kind of glow to it almost. The last one you did was more of like a blue, white. It was shooting off that like magical lightning. This one is a bit of a glowing red. Uh, and as you kind of approach it, you see that this one is matching the glow of the eyes of all the like zombies that are kind of like popping up around and all that. So this one is
nice.
not attacking the shield, so to speak, but you do see it has some kind of effect on the horde below.
This is the one I was looking for. All right.
All right, go
So
ahead. Yeah,
when I'm marked, I add in the thorn.
you added a thorn, correct? But then once after this roll, you clear that mark, and you won't
Okay,
add thorns again.
that's what I wanted to clarify. All right. We're rolling. Yo, I rolled a 6 on my thorn.
Nice.
I rolled a 6, a 5, and a 4 for my dice.
Nice.
This is the perfect painting, dude.
I love it, man.
So as you
It's a true
as
system
you
right
draw
here.
that, yeah, as you draw that bow back, you have that marker, like the deftness of your fingers. They just feel like they're getting weak, and you just catch this as you release. It almost slips from your finger a little too early, but you're able to kind of like buckle down and let go. Uh, and as it hits this thing, it kind of embeds itself into the spell. Like it had this kind of glowy smog around it, and it almost has like a more crystalline, solid center. And as your arrow kind of sticks into it, you hear it kind of crack again, and then kind of shatters. And you watch as the red glow in all their eyes kind of dissipate, and you see they get kind of like a sluggishness to them. They don't fall or anything. It's not what's animating them, but the vigor that they had, the strength that they were getting, kind of like dies off. And especially the little zombie ones, they just kind of go to, instead of being like in a frenzy, they're just kind of like standing there now. Um, and as you look back, so you catch a glimpse of a zombie or two. Kind of the same thing happens to them. They were like I said, that 28 days later sprinting around, and now they're kind of like just kind of walking around, and now the guards are able to kind of like get their bearings on them. You see them start kind of slashing the ones that are inside the wall down. Very
Damn
cinematically, as you kind of you jump, you do that, you have your renewed vigor. That mark goes, and then Basam snatches all three of you and teleports you to the backside of the army, where you now face this lich there. Go ahead and roll the thorns for me as you boof over there.
Boof.
6 and a 3.
Why don't we just do this in general? Just constantly pop behind an army and
No,
attack
that-
them from behind. Like, why
that's
wouldn't you
us.
just do that all the time?
That's us
That's-
three. We're
yeah,
bamfing all the time.
Sure.
6 and a 3 on the thorns.
That's crazy. Okay, cool, perfect. So you go exactly where you want to go. As you land there, where is my boy, the lich?
This is going pretty well, guys. It's turned around quite a bit.
Little.
Wait, yeah.
Keep rolling those 6s, Drew, and Joe. Step it up a
Look,
bit. He's-
Keep praying.
I'm trying.
There.
Don't roll
And as
7
you-
thorns again.
Yeah, so you guys, the three of you, poof in. I'll say it's even behind the lich. So you have like the army there. They're not too far away, maybe like 50 feet. He was kind of just floating up, finishing whatever. But he is wise to the ways of magic as well. And the all the arcane and the eldritch. He feels it all around him, and as immediately as you kind of pop up next to him, without even turning around, you see these spectral chains burst through the ground. I'm going to spin that suspense I got earlier as these chains wrap around you and lock you down. Both of you will, or all three of you will go ahead and take a mark on your agility as
We had
he
one.
Higher
slows you
livelihood.
down there.
I had one on my agility already.
Oh, actually, sorry. Because I'm spending a suspense on it, you guys do get defense rolls. So you roll your agility to try and get out of here. My bad. I was so used. So whenever it's a result of your messy or grim, it's an automatic hit. But if I'm just spinning it, you do get defense rolls.
5 and a 1.
You got a 5.
4.
Oh, I want to add my
You will,
spark to this, can I?
yes, but you also add a
Ooh.
thorn to it.
Good.
Don't forget that.
Everybody?
Oh yeah. No, just
No,
me.
just him because
Just Joe.
he has that harm.
Yeah.
He's got that burnt leg.
Yep,
What'd
it's
you get?
a
Burnt leg.
3 for my D6 and a 5 for my thorn.
Oh,
Okay, so
I'll
that's
switch that 3 to a
you
5.
still perfect. Okay, so
Earn my
Messi, what did
gift.
you get, Mark or Bron?
5.
Thank you.
And then you also got a 5. You got a 4. Okay, so we all got messies. So as these chains kind of pop up around you, um, they before they can really draw tight, you are able to kind of break free. However, you all will take just a mark on your agility, not a harm or anything, but you're able to kind of break free on that. Uh, Basically, how it works is with the messy, you get kind of like not as bad of a punishment. If you all got grims, it would have been a harm on your agility, and then it cut down to a disaster. Then it would have been you were like locked down in place. But the roll to get here, since they were not cut, it was perfect. So that is kind of like the action. So now it's back on y'all. So you pop in. He, without even turning around, tries to summon these chains up, and you all are able to break free. You just take a brief mark on your agilities.
Perfect.
I'm gonna hit him with the hunter's mark.
Okay.
So this is my second time for the session to do this, and I'll just I'll say that he's weak. I would say that he's unprotected in the crotch region.
He
He's
is
not
roughly
protecting his
armored.
Hell
nethers.
yeah.
He is,
He's
he
not
is armored
protecting his
here.
nethers.
You see, beneath the tattered robe, he does have this kind of, breastplate and all that, and arcane sigils and all that. But man, you notice he just did not put any sigils on his crotch today, and that is his current weakness, is he is just unarmored and unprotected.
He's
Not
Nice.
even
he's
close.
endlessly
Okay,
floating
it's just
above
bare.
everything, but has no bottom
Yeah,
protection. I love that.
Just yeah,
he's
he's
just shirt
too
dicking right now.
cocky, too confident.
He's Winnie the Pooh.
He's Donald Duck.
He's he's Donald ducking it. All right, he is Donald ducking it. I don't believe that costs like a because it's not a
Mango.
roll or anything. So you kind of hunter's mark him,
Yeah.
and you kind of point out to I'll say your hunter's mark. If you're okay with my creative liberty, it almost is like you guys have a quote unquote pact with each other. So you just see like in your minds this kind of like red glow around there as it kind of like marks in y'all's mind where his weakness is.
Nice.
Can't take your eyes off of it, all right, guys?
Yeah, now he's just got a glowing red crotch.
Oh shoot.
Awesome.
All right, so
Well,
that's Bassam and Balfour. What are y'all doing now?
I kind of want to use my meta creation, and I'm going to use a 2 points this time so I can make it a potent spell.
Okay.
Which gives me 1 more D to this.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm creating
Multiple D.
something. So I have 3 from just the thing there. I have 1 extra from Wilder, 1 extra from the potent, and then 2 thorns. Because I'm still.
All right, cool. Yes. So you have two, yes, because you have the harm and then
Oh wait, no, it
what's
says
the second?
North
And then
horns
your
from
wilder
damage.
and
Okay,
then
so
so
and
yeah,
I'm
so you'll have two
trying to
thorns. You'll
create
have one from harm and one from wilder
yes, and I'm trying to create a cannon
to just
Do you
blast
want
them with.
another
Okay.
D6?
to blast them. Oh, I can do my
Yeah.
spark. Yeah, let's do that. I'll add one more spark. I'll use my spark to it.
And then you
You
also
could
have
take
his
one from the
weakness
weakness.
pool.
And from the weakness. Why not?
So
Yeah,
what
you could take
that'll
one from
do
that.
is the way I understand it, because it kind of is like kind of vague on it, is so you just need to determine which two dice are from the weakness and say if they both roll like a 6 or whatever, then they stay there. But if you roll like a 1, you take it away from it. But it's always counting towards your
Oh,
whatever until you roll like a 1 through 3 on both of them. So we just have, as a group, have to track how many are left in that weakness pool.
that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
And I believe I'm gonna say
Fuck it,
I don't
burn
know
it.
if it specifies, so I'm gonna say they count towards crits. So like if you roll 2 6s, that's what a crit is. And then if you get it, we'll explain it. And then so just tell me
Come
what
on,
you
Joe.
roll there.
Get him, Joe.
5.
Balfour.
Wait,
Get
do
him,
I add
Balfour.
the extra 1d, or
So it's
It doesn't.
2d6 from the
He
weakness.
doesn't look confident.
okay, I get 2 extra. Okay,
He said,
this is a lot of dice.
There's a lot of dice.
Come on, Joe.
All right, I have so only the weakness ones
Weakness.
was a 6. The other one was a 2.
Okay. Okay, so the 2 goes
I
away,
got
the 6 stays.
I got 2 6s as well from my regular, and then
And
I
then
got a
just 2 for
6
that.
for my thorn.
Yes.
Those so what's great, so you do
perfect
crit.
roll.
If you had rolled a 7, it wouldn't have mattered because a crit ignores any cuts.
Okay.
So what a crit does is you can have a greater effect. So you can choose to basically you can choose for me to before I roll his health pool, I can just immediately take away a dice. So he automatically loses a dice before I roll. You can choose a secondary effect. So if you want something else to happen, you can have that as well. Or you can set a follow-up to give one of your allies an advantage on their next roll. That is what so you
Oh,
either
very good, Hawk.
basically make him automatically lose part of his health. You can get something else out of your cannon. So you're gonna blast him, it's gonna do damage. If you want it to do something else as well, you get like a second effect. Uh, or yeah, you can set them up for a bonus on their next roll.
I kind of want to take away the dice from you.
Okay. So let me make sure I have that right.
You
Just
should have gone for Vecna's Willie for Bassam.
No, I'm very limited. I'm utility. Good choice. Great choice. Take the dice.
Let's do
Vecna's Willie.
make sure I got this right.
oh, that is, but it's probably a Richard
One
It's probably
greater.
maybe a
Okay.
Johnson.
Johnson,
All
Peter.
right. So let me go back to his health here. Okay. So I'm gonna take one from the.
He names it.
This is all right.
Um,
He's gonna start as.
Surprised doing math.
Come
We're
on.
cracking jokes. Sexual
I
jokes.
know. You're good.
Cracking Willie jokes.
Okay. So
and we're
he's
cracking his
got
willy.
multiple. Okay. So the first one he
It's the name of the
uses
episode.
that
Cracked Willies.
cracked willies.
Cracking Willies.
Oh my god.
Vecna's Willie. That's all it should be is Vecna's Willie.
Vecna's willy.
They didn't steal his hand. They stole
Some
his
people go
willy.
for the hand.
Yeah.
Some
Oh
people
my
go for the eye. We go for the Willie.
I gotta tell you guys
Okay.
something after the video. Let me know. Remind me.
Oh no!
All
Don't
right,
ask, guys.
dude.
Don't ask what it is.
You watch after taking L after L against this zombie horde, you see Balfour finally gets his life together and very almost like Green Lantern-esque. Would that be an appropriate way to
Yeah,
describe
yeah.
it. He just has this kind of like cannon construct appear and just absolutely blasts. I'll even say he kind of turns around as he like feels this impending doom kind of around. He turns around and boom, right in the crotch. You blast him. Um, and it's like giant, almost like a mini nuke cloud pops up as you kind of blast up to him. Um, but he is obviously still alive, not dead yet. He's got a quite bigger health pool, but uh, I'll toss it over to Basam there as you watch him summon this giant cannon and blast in the crotch.
Knew you were gonna do that. You
He
know,
blew him.
honestly, unless the
Blew him,
GM
dude.
intervenes, I don't
It's
have
beautiful.
much else. So I didn't plan having equipment necessarily before this, but I would assume my lamp can be used as a melee weapon.
Yeah.
So whatever I'm
Well, I
about
was
to
like, so you
do,
can because you have cantrips, right? Like Warlock says it comes with cantrips.
and my trappings are Eternal Flame, Secret's Life. So
Yep. So how the cantrips work is it's basically reflavoring, right? So you can't like attack with your presence, but instead of like shooting a bow, you can shoot a firebolt from your lamp and it still uses agility. Or if you want to like have it basically summon a fire sword, it still uses brawn, but basically like you can just summon your kind of equipment with it as a cantrip because it's not changing the stat or anything.
you know what I'm gonna do? If you'll let me do this, I will summon a fire arrow and kind of queue it up for Rathgar to like shoot it out at the crotch. Can we do that? Let's make that
Okay, so
happen.
Take my bow and I hold it out while
Make
he
that
just
happen.
puts in the
Just
arrow.
conjure it in front of his bow. I don't know. Can that happen? Or maybe I'll envelop his
Yeah,
arrow.
but
He shoots with it. I don't know. Let's make it happen.
hold on, there's
Ooh.
a team up thing.
Let's
So
team
yeah,
up.
what I will say is, so what it does is
Tag
you can do
team.
assist. You can assist. So you help another PC on a roll, state how and why. So you're summoning this fire arrow for him. Um, he will roll an additional 1d6 on the thing, but you will both share the risk. So if he rolls a grim, you will also take the effects of that grim.
But he won't
Ooh.
because I have a gift. So I will rub my lamp to conjure a fire arrow around the arrow he's about to shoot.
Perfect. So yes, if I think you have 3 agility, so you can roll 4d6 this time. You do still have a thorn from the chains because you haven't rolled your agility yet.
Yep.
But yeah, you have your
And then
4d6 in your thorn.
I'm gonna also roll the weakness because he had a d6, right?
Yes,
So I
he
can still
still
roll
had a
that
d6 in
weakness.
there.
I'd also
Freaking
like to use a
dice.
spark here. So that puts me at 66 and
The sparks.
1d8.
Okay.
66. Holy shit. No, I'm joking.
66.
Holy
Yeah, baby.
moly.
Jesus.
Like a fireball. Oh my god. All right, so I rolled a 1 on the d8.
Oh, that's good.
Perfect. Okay.
I
Did you crit?
rolled.
Thought the thorns were
I
going to be
did. I got
a
two
lot worse.
d6s, but I also had what was it, like 2 1s, a 2, and a 3. I was like, oh my god,
Oh lord.
could have been horrible. The what do you call it? The weakness pool was the 1, so the weakness pool is gone on him. His crotch
Gotcha.
is no longer lit up.
I don't know. Can I re-roll that to a
Crotch is no
4?
longer
Does
lit.
that make a difference? Or no? If it does, then I'll use it. I just replace a
Reroll
d6
to a
roll
4.
for anyone.
So that weakness roll. So it goes from
Oh,
a
so
1
that
to a 4.
weakness roll.
Does a 4 make a difference?
Oh yeah, you could do that. Absolutely. So
Look,
then you
I'll
would.
do it.
Yeah, you could do that.
Heck yeah.
His crotch is still lit up.
Eldeber's out of gifts, boys.
Okay. So is it just 1 6 or 2 6s?
Oh, it's 2 6s.
2 6s. Okay. And then what would you like to do for that crit there?
What were the options
You have
again? Actually, you know
you
what,
have the
Basam, you choose that.
Dude, take his health pool
so you
away. I
have
feel like
the
that's the most detrimental thing. Wow, I'm drunk.
He's
That's
got a
the most
flaming Vecna
detrimental
Willy.
thing. Take the health pool.
all right, cool. So we're gonna roll that. Good.
His Willy's fire hot right
And
now.
he had no willy to begin with, but now he has like a negative willy. You ever had a negative willy?
Yes.
He's turtle dicking.
Oh yeah.
He's turtle
Remember
dicking
when I was a kid?
over the minions. Inverted dick.
It's just the tip.
Cut that from the video.
When it's too cold.
So then he will, as a boss, he does have a couple suspense that I get to spend for free. So I'm going to go ahead and spend one of those suspense now
Of course he
to
does.
cast.
We thought we
his
killed him in 2
expanding-
hits.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, you thought it. He's
We
going
got
to
him.
cast his expanding flesh transmutation. So he, does some, fancy magic stuff with his hand. You see these like magic sigils appear, and from the ground below him, these couple, again, numbers are kind of abstract here, so we'll call it like 3 just for the fun of it. 3 of these giant, not quite as big as who was destroying the wall there, but these like kind of patchwork zombies that he kind of like, you see him kind of rip the flesh from underneath the ground. Even some of the zombies behind him, he just kind of like rips it there and expands it out and makes them kind of like super zombies basically, and they kind of like make a wall, quote unquote, in front of him, as you now have these new targets there in the fight as well. And then they are going to come out and kind of launch at you. I'll say 1 at each of you there. What do I call them?
Just give a
To-
side eye to Balfour. Like, do your trick again.
I'm gonna try.
Let's see. Let's try to find. There we go. That's what I was trying to find. So yeah, these called a we're just gonna call it what the one thing that I liked, the stats on it didn't match the physical description, so we're just gonna use it. But yeah, they kind of rush at you there. I need each of you to make a brawn defense roll as the 3 of them kind of like do this big leap, and they kind of jump down. They're trying to they're unarmed. They didn't like get weapons or anything. They're just trying to smash on the 3 of you there. So this is be a defense roll. You do still have your harm there, Balfour, so you will take that thorn on there. And then anybody else who has a mark on a brawn, you'll take a thorn as well. But if not, it's just a straight brawn roll.
Can I do anything like
then I'll start with,
reactionary? Can I use my earth element to do any kind of like defensive thing towards this? Pull the earth up in front of me. I don't know. Harden my skin, something like that.
Yeah, I'll say you could do that. You
Cantrip.
spend one of those like kind of spell as a cantrip. No, if you spend your earth kind of spell slot, I think you still have the earth
That
one.
That one.
I'll say you can take an additional dice, a d6 on your brawn roll as you're trying to like kind of bulk yourself up for it.
Clarifying question though too. It says you have spell casting rolling presence to call on an element which serves as a touchstone. If I'm using the earth element, how do I bring the rolling presence into
I'll let you
this?
use. I'll let you roll presence then on that one.
Okay, and then
Since you're spending a spell slot for it, I'll let you roll presence on it. Let's
remind me,
spell slot.
my notes suck. I took a +1 thorns to presence like early on, but I think I healed that from the teleporting, I believe. Is this a flat roll?
You have not healed it yet because you have to roll. You have to roll presence to clear that mark.
The presence
So
roll.
you'll take a thorn, but you'll still roll the 3d6s. Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll go with Rathgar first. If you've rolled yours already, got a 5. Okay. And so I'll describe yours first. So that he comes down, you're able to, for the most part, kind of like brace yourself on it. But you will take a mark on that brawn as he kind of like slams down on you there. You're able to kind of like bear down on it though, and like kind of like take the hit. It's just you kind of like bruised and banged up from it. Balfour there, what'd you get?
I got a 5 and a 7 on my thorn.
So you go down to a grim, and you've already have harm on your brawn, don't you?
I used it. I think I used it before. No, I did.
Because
Yes.
the
Yeah.
harm,
Okay.
the harm doesn't clear unless you get healing.
Okay, then yes, I still had.
So you get basically you get hit on your brawn again. So this one you kind of this goes to the. I need to tab my book so I don't have to go into the thing to search every time. We got
Oh yeah, you have Grimwild in the printed, like the spiral thing.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
because
nice.
physical copies. Fun story. We won't get into that on here, but I got it
That's
printed
nice.
and I got
I wish
the
I
book
had
there.
that for real.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna go with. Should match the tone. 9 snakes. Taking a type of harm the second time leaves you dropped. You are out of the scene. Make a story roll.
Yeah, you gone,
I need
buddy.
you
We're still
to.
buddies too.
Yeah, so he comes down and boom, slams on him, bucks down to the ground. I need you to make a 2d6 story roll.
I'm out of gifts. Don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
2 5s. I don't know how good
2 5.
that is, but
You so that is a messy, so you don't outright die. I'm going to say you take a condition. The condition I'm going to use for this is we're going to go with urgent. This is basically another 4d6. Hmm. You are basically dying. You have 4d6 again. That like burn patch just kind of like it's like ripping a scab off, dude. Like your whole leg like broke and shattered, and you're bleeding out. Same thing. You are now currently dying. And it's the same thing though. It's a we'll call it a four. We'll do 6D dice pool.
okay. Sweet.
You don't have to roll that right now. But what did you get, Basam,
I actually got the
on your
same
presence roll?
exact thing. I got a 5 on the d6 and a 7 on the thorns. So messed.
Oh boy.
So you're down to a grim. So as he kind of comes down, you try to bring this earth up to kind of protect you. And in the hit of it, it almost like as the earth is starting to form is when it hits. You're just not quite able to get up in time, and almost like the earth betrays you, and he slams the earth element into your chest. You will mark harm on your presence
Hmm.
All
as it
right.
kind of like he almost like ruptures the source of the magic that you have itself.
Yeah. That hurt.
All right, but that is back to the group there.
Can I do something, or am I like on the floor?
You're dying on the ground, so you are until something happens with that. You're almost like quote unquote unconscious.
Okay.
Unless you have like I would even if within your bastions and all that there is a way for you to kind of like heal yourself up. um I don't know, I think you didn't
I
take the
didn't
healing
take
one, I think.
biodynamics, no.
I'll
But it does say for growth is 2 levels. Does that mean on level 3 I would be able to get another Debastion, or is it
Yeah,
okay?
level 3.
I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't got it.
I'll say
I'll
what was it, yeah.
I'll try to like kind of stagger and pick myself up off the ground, like literally, and I'll go into my otherworldly form. So I'll turn into a floating dispersed form flavored after my patron's trappings. So I'll turn into like a kind of flame form, and I'll can do 3 things in this form, but the one I'm choosing is fly high in the sky. And I'll kind of fly up to get kind of eye level with this lich now.
Okay.
Like the Gundam G Fighter
I'm kind of
intro song.
scapegoating, but not really scapegoating.
I'll say that's fine. That's not because it just says that happens, right? You don't have to like roll to go into
Yeah,
your
no,
form, I don't
it's
think.
totally imaginative. So yeah, I'm just a kind of a floating dispersed form of fire flying in front of
Okay.
him.
What was the 3 things you chose to be able to do in that form? I'm assuming fly.
Fly high in the sky, slip through gaps, and speak. So I can still talk if I'd like, but I won't at the moment. Disappear.
All right. Rathgar, what do you got? I will say, like, obviously these things look kind of like healthy. He just summoned them, but the Lich itself, like, he took some fucking hits. Like, he's not looking great.
So to try and like open up that wall, because we can't really see him right now. He's got those guys right in front of him, right?
I would say you can see him. They're just kind of in your face. So to attack him, you would probably just take a thorn. But it's not like a physical wall. They're just like kind of body blocking. But you're in an
Okay.
open-ish field, so you can kind of like move and maneuver. So, like I said, you probably just take a thorn if you're trying to attack him directly.
Yeah, I think I will. So I'll try and like skirt to the side and start to hopefully open that up a little bit more. Um, and I'm gonna just try throwing some arrows at it. So thorn, agility, and then we still have the weakness pool on him, right?
Yes, because he
So
moved that to a 4, so I'd say you do still have it. Yes.
all right,
Nice.
so I'm gonna use my purple dice for that one. Okay. I did get a 3 on the D8,
Perfect.
and then I got a 6 overall for the roll, but a 5 on the weakness pool.
Gotcha. So okay, so you'll keep that weakness pull there,
Nice.
and then, but you got a 6, so that is a perfect. So you don't take anything immediately. Get there. And heck yeah, he is super close there.
Oh,
Yes, that. Uh, Terror. That's pretty crazy. He will spend a suspense here to um retaliate at you. So you'll get a defense roll on this. As
Okay.
he tries to, again, these like arcane vines kind of come up, but instead of trying to grapple you on, he like kind of summons it to kind of smash down on you. This one I will say is I'll give you kind of the choice of a brawn or agility on this one, as that you see this vine appear and he tries to like kind of lash down on you. Just
It'd definitely be like a
Rathgar.
jumping roll kind of thing to get out of the way.
I would
So
say you were moving anyways, so I'd say you're just trying to
yeah,
keep your momentum to dive out of the way. So go ahead and roll that. It's a just like an attack roll, same. You won't have any thorns, I believe, on this one because you clear.
I clear
You
them
don't
all.
have it. Yeah, yeah.
Sweet. That is a 5.
5. Okay, so that'll just be right as you dodge, you just almost get out of the way, and it just kind of like lashes you on the arm there. So you just take a mark on your agility as you don't quite get right out of the way, but you don't take the full brunt of the attack there.
I get caught by a thorn.
Yeah, you get caught by a thorn. It's a rose vine.
Yeah, yeah.
well.
Go ahead and roll me a dying pool there.
Oh yeah.
So we
Oh
got
yeah.
66 on this one.
You said drop anything 3 or lower.
Correct.
All right. I have 3 dice left.
Halfway there. All right. What do you got, Basam? So you kind of got your escape route, got your scapegoat move. So you're just kind of floating there. Like I say, he's not like very high in the air. I'd say he's floating maybe like 10, 15 feet or so in the air. So you're just kind of like you kind of float up to where he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty much tapped out. I think it's gonna be like kind of cheesy and lame, but is there a way that I can use my last primordial bond with water to roll some kind of check to kind of like blast him in the eyesight? Like, can I do like a blinding effect or some kind of thing to mess with his vision?
So kind of like a
Maybe give,
debuff.
yeah, maybe
Uh,
give Rathgar like a chance to like get a clean shot or like an advantage from distraction kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'll
That's all
say
I can
you
think
can
of.
almost we'll say with the water, you kind of grab the fog that's always ever present here, and you
There you
kind of
go.
coalesce it, and it kind of just like this water bubble, misty bubble, just kind of like forms around his face and obscures his vision.
That worked. How do
Dang, he
how do
missed.
I have to make a presence roll? I guess I don't know. Do I have to do that? That's what
Yeah, go
spell
ahead and roll a
casting.
presence roll.
Okay, so
Yeah,
question
so
on
you'll roll
that:
the presence.
if I have
Mhm.
harm on presence, does that change my roll at all?
You'll just add a thorn.
And then I have a story thing still. So can I do 4d6 with a
Yeah.
thorn? Is that how that works?
Yeah, you want to spend your spark.
Yeah. Spark, not story. Sorry. Okay, let me
Absolutely.
do this. Wow. Okay, hang on. Oh, thank God. Okay. Hey, double. I got 2 6s, 2 1s on the d6s, if that matters.
You
The thorns, I got a what is it? Oh crap, a 6.
So that
Yes.
is fine. Even the thorn wasn't even necessary because with a crit,
Okay.
thorns do not matter.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you get so you basically crit. So
All
you
yours,
get a
Rathgar.
greater effect, a setup. We'll say
Pays
we go with
health.
the setup, right?
Yeah, setup's
So
fine.
I will say because it was originally supposed to be a debuff, which would have given him an extra d6. Since you crit, I'll give him an extra 2d6 on his next attack. So go ahead then and launch another arrow at
I
this.
thought that was
Actually,
going to be
before you do
totally
that,
useless, and you made that work out. So yeah, cool.
so
Grimwild
before
fans, comment
before you
below.
do
Was that cool?
Yeah.
that, I want to spend one more suspense before you take your final shot.
All right, never mind. Don't comment below.
You know what? Be quiet. Don't even comment. Don't
Yeah.
just leave.
Are you still here?
He will spend a suspense to spend his binding word enchantment spell, and he will kind of try to charm you. Bow to me, and so he basically is trying to get you to in like a fealty way, and so we'll add. We're gonna add. We'll add one thorn. I won't be too bad. We'll add one thorn to
4
that roll
thorns.
there.
Yo,
8 thorns, dude. Now we'll
Whoa!
yeah,
ooh, 8
yeah,
D8.
yeah.
If you said 8 thorns, I would have just cut the video, honestly.
No, we'll no. Let's do 2 thorns. Let's do 2 thorns. He's gonna spend a whole spell slot in a suspense. We'll do 2 thorns on this for your
2 feels fair, as much as I
5d6.
hate that.
Yes, because like I
So
said, if you crit, it's going to null them anyways. So
it's gonna be from 5d6 to 6d6 because of the weakness pool.
yes,
I'm gonna use a spark here, my last spark.
okay, 76.
I'm gonna use 7d6.
Go.
76 and 2 thorns. Okay.
One got sent. Oh, there it is. You want me to re-roll this one?
Nah, it's whatever it was. It's fine if you know what it
Okay.
was.
It was a 5. Okay. So I did get a crit.
Beautiful.
It is 2. I got 3 6s to be exact, and a bunch of 2s and
Alright, this
1s in
man's
that
got
one
weighted
5.
dice
So
for
yeah,
sure.
For sure.
I've known
Totally.
this man for like
Totally,
6
no.
years, and there's a weighted dice for sure. I'm joking.
but the weakness pool goes away. That is to be absolutely sure. That
That's
thing's gone.
fine. So what would you like? Would you like your greater effect, secondary effect, or setting it up for someone else? Namely Basam, because Balfour. While he thinks about that, Balfour, go ahead and roll a dying pool for me,
Do not
actually.
set
'cause
it up
I
for
missed
me.
that.
I've got
I'm gonna go
nothing
for
left.
greater effect.
Oh,
Greater effect.
Down to 2.
Down to 2. Greater effect is actually perfect because this man had 1 dice left in his health. So you take that 1 die away with your crit, and you just absolutely blast this lich through the crotch there.
Let's
Not
go.
out of jail yet, but you see this lich fall to the most imaginable pain ever, and the zombies, the zombie horde, I will say, falls down to the ground. You do have these three kind of brutes left. They are in a weakened state, however, but the lich, and you see here and there just the army, almost like you like flip the switch on the hive mind, and they all just start kind of like boom falling down to the ground there. But you do have these three kind of bigger individuals left right here.
Oh yeah.
We
Okay.
have- yes. And with that, because they're not blocked. Okay, yeah, and they don't. You got a perfect and crit and everything, so you got that down. So it's still kind of like on y'all. They don't have suspense to spin for free like the Lich did.
Thank goodness.
I'm kind of tapped out. Is there anything I can do for Balfour to like get him back?
Yeah.
I will say you could attempt a kind of first aid again to basically just staunch the bleeding. We'll call the dying is like similar to the bleeding out. However, this is more of a like health kit, so to speak. So this would be like a wit roll to like basically perform like medicine on him.
I'm decent.
Ready.
Do my best. I'll try that. So do I just roll my wit?
Yep, it's whatever your pool is, and it's the same thing. 6 is a perfect. You got
Oh
your
boy.
messies, your grims.
A 6. Get that.
Nice.
Perfect.
on.
So yeah, I will say
Right on.
you can yeah, because I would say a critical would kind of get him back in the fight, but I'll say with a perfect, you stabilize him. So you are still unconscious, but you are no longer bleeding out. You just get that like tourniquet on perfect on that. He's very pale. He's been bleeding out twice now.
Okay. I've seen him
but
at worse. I'll
you're-
look to Rathgar and give him that kind of wink of like, he knows where we're at in this situation.
yeah. All right,
This is
Rathgar, you got
this is
some.
I've
why
taken care of Balfour as
this,
usual. It's your turn.
Yeah.
Make some
You got
shit
this, dude.
happen.
So just to like a little peek behind the DM screen, right? So you have these three creatures, but they all share a single dice pool. So basically, as you're chipping away at that dice pool, is how they're dropping. So it's not you kind of are just aiming at thematically whoever you want, but it's one dice pool that you are chipping away at.
I like that.
But
And,
it is on. He got a perfect, so it's still on y'all. I only get basically an impact move if I spend a suspense, which I don't really have right now, and whenever you all roll a missy or a grim.
Point of order as well. I
Okay.
guess I came out of that otherworldly form to do the stabilization. So
Yes, you
I'm
would have
like
done that. I'll
me
say you
again.
kind of like
Yeah.
you kind of flew down and like the form kind of dissipated or maybe solidified as you kind of reached the ground there.
And I'm gonna keep moving and try and redirect their attention away from Bassam and Balfour and just keep firing arrows at them.
Okay.
awesome.
There's no
Did you
fucking
crit
way.
again?
There's absolutely no way.
Oh my god.
Literally a 1 and 2 6s. I was like, what the?
I should have gave you a thorn, but it's too late now. Okay. So do you want to
I'll
do
roll
a
it. Hold
glitter
on.
effect?
It was a
It
6.
matters. It's fine. Would you like to take
It didn't matter.
a greater effect, a secondary effect? Again,
Wanna
it's all
give
kind of up to the
advantage.
narrative.
Or give like set them up.
Set them up to do.
Yeah, like set up Bassam or whatever to do their next, attack or
Okay.
whatever.
So then I'll still roll their health pool.
As they're like following me and has their back turned to him so he can
Absolutely.
do his
So
fiery
let's
do.
see. Oh, nice. Okay. So boom. I'll say even as you're kind of like pin cushioning them, you actually make one of them kind of fall to the ground, and that kind of pulls the attention of the other two to try and like kind of chase after you.
Hell yeah.
And then that's on you, Bassam, as he kind of sets you up. You've got him, Balfour stabilized, and you look over, and he's kind of just like kiting these large, ghoulish creatures around.
I want to do some kind of like illusory effect, assuming they're not that smart, to again use flames in some kind of way to create some wall or barrier where they'd have to like work around it. So maybe this is more of like a lateral wall towards me. Make them have to kind of go around to give give Rathgar extra time to take more shots at him, kind of thing. They can't just get to me directly, you know.
And so, how are you kind of doing that? Like, is it a talent you're using or an ability?
I'm trying to stretch a cantrip to the to the furthest possibility as possible, but I'm using my eternal flame. Gosh, I can't remember what they're called. It's not domains. What is it called? Bond. Those are like the essence of my patron, eternal flames. So I'm just trying to use a cantrip to create an illusory effect to make like a line of fire where they might think, oh, we got to go this way instead, kind of thing. Just delay them a bit.
So I'll say won't be able to do that with a cantrip. So cantrip is mainly just like what they call set dressing. So you can kind of you can flavor things, but you can't actually like complete a task necessarily with a cantrip. It just kind of expands your what they call vantage. So like basically it has to be a roll, but it's kind of like what are you doing? I could say you're trying to like kind of slow them down. So instead of like throwing a net on them, you're like kind of throwing this magic at them to get them to kind of slow down. In which case, I would say that would be kind of an agility roll because you're kind of throwing this magic at them.
Okay, yeah, I'll do the best I can. But so yeah, just basically yeah, like you said, trying to delay them in some way to give them that extra time. I have a thorn on my agility, so
Okay.
2d6 with a d8.
Mhm.
Okay, that's a 1 and a 6. Not bad, not bad. Thorn is a 5.
Perfect.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you get a
Worked
messy
out.
on there.
Worked
So
out, boys.
you kind of throw these like magical kind of dust on there. You do get a messy, but instead of impacting you, I'm going to take it as a suspense, and I'm immediately going to spin that suspense as this creature kind of like rips its own arm off and chucks it at Rathgar there to try and attack him. So you do get a defense roll. I will say because of the distance on there, it is going to quote unquote hit. So I'm going to make this a brawn one. You're going to take the hit and you're trying to see if you can just kind of like power through it. So go ahead and give me a brawn defense roll.
He's gonna roll his crit right here.
Yeah,
1d6 and a d8.
Oh, you have a thorn on there. Nice. There's no way, dude. There's absolutely no way.
He got
I
a
rolled
6
a 4 on my d6, and my d8 was an 8.
So you go down to a Grim. So as he, rips off his own zombie arm and chucks this thing at you, you just kind of, like I said, it hits you and it just gets you like kind of straight in the chest. It's like he throws his fist at you. You will, and you already had your brawn marked. You said,
Yeah.
okay. So
Guys,
that is going
what
to go
the
to a
hell?
harm. That's going to take a harm. You're also going to be vexed. So vexed is. Let me read this one off for you.
Fight, flight, freeze, or freak out.
Yes, I think I have it right here, actually. I have this cheat sheet that I haven't really been using. Yes. So it is up to you as the player. Take, what you think of the appropriate response would be for Rathgar there. But yes, you have to do an immediate response. Do you fight, flight, freeze, or freak out?
So I've
And it will
got two
last
traits
basically kind of
here.
for a moment.
I've got two traits here that is persistent and protective, which I feel like would have some bearing on his immediate thought processing, and so I think it would be to stay and fight.
Okay, for sure. So how does that look? Because it's driven by your emotion. So what does that look like to you to kind of fight back in this moment?
I would say the gentle trait that he normally has kind of falls to the wayside as the anger kind of takes over, and then it's just a mad rush to try and lose whatever arrows he can until he gets into contact with them to then fight with his blades.
Okay, so you kind of almost like turn
Like
back and
taking the
rush forward
hit, go down to the ground, and I'm just like bleeding out from like maybe like a hit to the head or something, and then yeah, start heading their way, and just like picking up as much speed as possible.
Go ahead and as you kind of give your fight or flight response of fight, go ahead and give me that agility roll with a thorn as you try to kind of pincushion these last two there.
Okay.
Does your agility already have a mark?
It does not.
Okay, cool. So you're taking the thorn just because you have that harm on your brawn, basically.
Yep.
Actually, oh no, because you have the harm on that, and then you have the vex. We're gonna go with 2 thorns on this one, from your vex
Okay.
and your harm.
Too easy.
Too easy.
Too easy, he says,
Okay,
because
so
he's
that's
got
a
2 sixes.
4 for the D6. So 4 overall, and then I got a 5 and a 1 on the D8s.
Perfect. So go ahead and I'll do that here. First, I'll do the rule. I'll tell you what, I'm done bullying you. So he had 1 die left. Instead of doing
Oh.
my impact, I'm going to take a suspense, and I am allowed, when appropriate, to spend my suspense to knock out that last D6 there. You earned it as you kind of pin cushion this last one, and right as he's about to kind of like hit you, like his life just kind of ends, and he just like kind of falls to your feet there. And that is kind of where we'll end it, right? You got the
Holy
army is kind of falling down. You took out the lich. Uh, this was kind of a story kit from the book, The Fall of Bastion. So in theory, you play this out as like a story arc. So we kind of like rush through it in a one shot where this could take several sessions to kind of run through. But that is where we will end it. What do y'all think?
That's
Loved it.
I already know true love.
Yeah.
Did you roll nothing but 6s all night? No.
I did roll really well. Yeah, I did. But not even just that. Like obviously, yeah, rolling great. It always feels great, and that's going to always make you love it.
Perfect system.
More than before. But pretty perfect system. Don't change a thing. Don't change a thing.
Just fucking nailed it,
But
bro.
what I love is I love the kind of like back and forth within the dice roll, and the fact that you don't even really need initiative on, like, even
Yeah.
for the NPCs, even for the adversaries themselves. Like, you don't even have to worry about that besides just a back and forth sort of roll. It's almost like Daggerheart, except without the fear to help you do those things, except in the form of
Mhm.
suspense. But I love the way that, first off, that you described a lot of the things. So like even when
Thank
it
you.
was messy, like when I was like leaning over to do a few shots, that I almost felt something, but because of the fact that I rolled a 6, it kind of took away that thorn moment. Like that was a great way of describing things. Or even like when the magic would dissipate and all of a sudden I'd get attacked, or one of these guys would get attacked, like it just broke straight through whatever they were trying to do and they get hit. I love those moments. So I think the system does really well with that, as well as how simple the features and like the talents are. Like just
Mhm.
how very straightforward they are once you understand, like, okay, a 2D weakness pool. Like, okay, we're getting our pool together, but having the sparks, the back and forth with the what is it, like marking your agility or your brawn, and those detriments that can kind of come with it. I really liked how easy this was to pick up. I think that's really what I'm
Mhm.
driving at here, is how easy this was to pick up, because we just played a whole game and we weren't really doing a whole lot of rules lookup, but it still had that kind of like suspense that you're looking for. So it really does drive home that narrative on top of some great system mechanics in general. So yeah, I thought it was a really great system, especially when you want to highlight more of the story and keep your players feeling heroic, even at level
For
2.
sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, that I guess we forgot to mention that in the beginning. We are only level 2. The game does cap at level 7, so there's really not uh, too much like craziness as far as like level wise. But yeah, Joe,
Yeah. It,
how did you feel?
I did like it. Yeah, I fell down a couple times. Literally
I'll
only a
get back
couple.
up again.
I did get back up again, and they're never gonna keep me down. Anywho, um, that I liked how. So I'm gonna relate this to Genesis and how it has the dice and everything is more, I guess, if it hits, it's gonna hit good or bad or medium or not at all, or it's very similar to that in a sense. Um, Especially when you can roll a 6 on one of them and then you roll like an 8 or a 7 on your thorn, and you're still either getting hit or not getting hit. but
Mhm.
definitely it- going down was fun. I'm not even kidding. That was even though I died pretty much almost. It was really cool to see like the like it was called disastrous if I'm correct, right? Um,
Yeah, disaster.
like the disastrous effects of that is like it's interesting. Like you only have roughly like two health essentially, before you're actually down. But then you can get back up easily as long as you heal yourself, and that was pretty cool to see like that. And like just like True said, it's very similar also to Daggerheart, where it's like free flowing, but without the fear. Even though the thorns are pretty much like the fear itself. Um, that's also like how despair and um uh like the disadvantage of the Genesis one.
Oh,
Mhm.
the threats and the
The
triumphs and the, or sorry, the triumphs
threats
and
and
the
triumphs. That's it.
despairs,
Yes,
the
that's it.
threats and
it
advantage and all that. Yeah.
it's very similar to those
Yeah.
in
I'd
a
agree
way.
on that one.
Yeah,
I'll have to take your
liked
word
it.
for it. I mean, I've watched right, I've watched the y'all play the Star Wars one, but I've never actually like read through it. But I
Of
think
course.
both y'all separately, when I was like prepping y'all for this, both said that like
Yeah.
on your own as well. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
very interesting. All right,
Yeah.
all right, Brian, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I
How
picked
are you
up on that
feeling?
same thing. I felt like a lot of Genesis vibes with the basically it hits or it doesn't, and then how well does it or doesn't hit, right? Like I only played the Genesis system that one time at True's house as well, but I felt the vibe of that with the Thorns dice kind of being that element of that, which it actually happened quite often. And tying into that
Yeah.
point, the Thorns, I thought, like through reading the book and before playing, I thought the Thorns were going to be like a really detrimental thing, but I wasn't realizing the I think you had to hit like a 7 or an 8 on the Thorns for it to really like
Mhm.
downgrade you. That actually worked out pretty well. I mean, we saw that in the video like a few times we hit 7 or 8, but most of the time we didn't. So the Thorns were really, if you had like one Thorn, it wasn't as detrimental as I thought it would be going into it. So I did appreciate that kind of as we played. Um, Couple of things more specific to the warlock in general. I think the gifts was really crazy. Like if I had rolled double sixes, right? Like there's a chance that'll happen
Oh yeah,
at the beginning of the session. That would break the game. And 5 and a 4 wasn't that bad, but if I had even 1 6, you could make anything another player does a crit. That's cool. I really like the power that a
yeah.
warlock could
I will
have.
confirm. I would assume it works like that because there are certain abilities and talents in the game that specify, hey, a 6 on this roll does not count towards your crit. So that doesn't
Gotcha.
have that naming convention there. So
Yeah.
yeah, if somebody had rolled a
Just
6 and
straight
you add one, you
replace
could
it.
basically give them a crit.
Yeah, and then the
I like that.
we didn't see this in the one shot here because it's more of a ties in from the previous sessions, but the warlock also has the patient pool, the patience dice.
Mhm.
And so basically if we had multiple sessions before this and it happened to run out, my patron could visit me and kind of like give some other element to the story, right? Or kind of thing. So clear up
Yeah,
whatever
the
issues happened
warlock has
before.
like
Yeah,
baked in like GM tool. So basically, like
right.
if he's not following his patron's request and like what he wants them to do, yeah, you roll this patient pool, and eventually, if
Yeah.
he's not doing what his patron asks him to do, he will come down and like something will
Yeah,
happen.
so that's definitely cool, like, looking
Right
at a
on.
Oh,
campaign or a miniseries, and then I didn't really capitalize on this because I honestly didn't realize it till the end when I was, like, looking stuff up, but the trappings for the Warlock are flavored from the touchstones they have, so, like, when I was using the Wayfarer to teleport, I should have flavored that in, like, a fiery fashion because 'cause I'm kind of all about the fire element, but I just kinda like, "We're teleporting," but you actually get the touchstone elements from that, so I coulda used the fire on that as well, which would have been really cool. And then, the health and wow, can't read my note, but oh, initiative. There's not really, like, a health or initiative, mechanic in a sense, so I really appreciated that and kinda how it flowed naturally, more so than I thought it would. So yeah, I talked a lot, but I really loved playing this. It was super fun. Those are kind of the key points I took notes of.
And I added one thing. I love the
Mhm.
pools, like the hit when he was
Yeah,
bloodied and down on the ground and like dying kind of thing.
mhm.
The suspense was there because we're like, oh, 66? he's got that. That's a lot of dice. And then it's cut in half immediately, and you're like, Jesus
His
Christ.
first roll, he
Okay.
fucking
Yeah.
burned it all. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God. So I love the way the pools work out because you think you've got like, oh, that's pretty good. Like we're going to be okay here. Forgetting that half the roll's probably going to be, a 1, 2, 3, something like that. You're not going to be doing so hot like that. So that was really nice. I did like the pools and the way that worked out. So yeah, just wanted to add that point in there.
Awesome, yeah. So I mean, I'll give my perspective. Obviously, so my first time running it too, and it was the prep really wasn't that bad, and I felt like I was missing something, and I was waiting for like the other foot to drop. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like there was like maybe one or two times where I had to double check something. One of them was my own notes, like I messed up in my own notes. Uh, but literally, like I'll show it here. Like the whole one shot is on this page. Everything we
Holy
did,
moly.
kind of minus the monster stats, everything was on this one page. And it's just check boxes that I was marking on the digital one. I didn't mark the book. Um, but no, I really enjoyed it. Also, there are no stat blocks. I won't show them on here. We might get into it like, later time, but there's no like attacks, right? Like everything I did, like I'm just flavoring it. And I think it made it really great from a GM side because I didn't have to be like I didn't roll. The only dice I rolled is the resource pool because I'm sure you noticed I didn't roll to attack you. I said I'm attacking you and you're either taking the hit or you're trying to dodge out of the way. So like I had a dice pool on my thing just because in the move I can't find my dice bag, which is breaking my heart right now. But so I was just rolling on the computer, and that's all I was rolling was the health pools. So super easy to GM, I think, and it's a lot of creative freedom because in the book they basically just gave you hips and tints. I'm like, this is what an impact roll is, and out of that you just kind of roll with it, which I really liked because sometimes I think you're looking at stat blocks like, man, I really wish I could do this, and you just kind of like make it up now as you go along. So that part was I really enjoyed GMing it. I think this is going to be my system going forward whenever I want to play a game. So I'm glad y'all were able to play with me. I've been trying to find a good time for this, and it finally worked out. But uh, so
I want to say that this one used a lot of imagination, which was really fun to do. I don't know if anyone else
Yeah.
was
yes,
having fun using that as well. I know I could tell definitely Fry when he was GMing, he was having fun with the imagination of that. But
yeah,
so yeah, I did
There,
like that part.
no, it was
there's so much more to like the character arc, the group arc. You have those like fleshed out, and you're playing multiple sessions. The bonds, the character details, like the backgrounds, can
yeah.
really
We didn't
play a
even
large part. The traits and
we didn't
desires.
touch on a lot of things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I respect the system for sure. The spark, we all like had a spark that was pretty, impactful.
Hmm.
came in
But
clutch.
yeah, yeah.
The traits, the
Yeah.
desires, those two.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I will
That was
say
nice.
my only gripe with the book and me and Brown kind of like talked on this as well is not the best organized. I get what they were trying to do. It kind of has like a player section and then a GM section, but like it it gives you when it presents a rule, it kind of cuts the rule in half and it has the player interaction of that rule in the player section and the GM's interaction with the rule in the GM section. So I'll be reading like the player book and I'm like, they'll be like, yeah, you do this, this, and that. And then it's like, okay, but what does that mean? And it's not until you get to the GM section that it like finishes the sentence. So that was the one thing I didn't like
Yeah,
about
I
the
felt
book.
unintelligent reading this rule book. I'm not gonna lie. No stab at Grimwild. It's a great system. I love playing it through, but like trying to read it and prep for it, I was like, thought I knew things that then like Fry was like, no, it's this, and he showed me like one little thing. I'm like, oh yeah. So
It was literally like I think it was we were talking about like what do I get on a level up? And like, oh, it's on this page and it's literally half of a sentence that says what happens when you level up. And it's like not
Hmm.
under a thing that says level up. It's like gaining experience. And that's what it tells you what happens on a level up. So yeah, just a little I think and I had a little cheat sheet here that I got online there. We'll plug that down below if you're interested in seeing it. I think it was really great. I didn't have to use it too much because I've read this book kind of front and back multiple times because I loved the set, like loved the rule set, so I read it a lot. But I feel like you could play it with literally just this cheat sheet and like figure it out. But yeah, unless there's any final closing remarks there?
No, I would do this
No?
again though.
Awesome.
If you end up running a campaign
Oh,
for
yeah.
the channel, I'm just saying I'd happily play that shit.
Yeah, whenever it's my time, I think this is what we'll run through. We'll run through a couple sessions so we can actually touch on a lot of the more fun stuff. But yeah, that was Grimwild. I think consensus we had a really great time. For those that stuck with us to the end, let us know what you think of it. Let us know your experience with it. I'd love to hear what y'all have done, changed, played with, all that stuff. But until next time, keep that shield wall strong.